Baela lost the love of her life before she even got to marry him. Then the rulers of Westeros tried to force her into marrying a man old enough to be her father, a widower whose own sons were around her age. Baela's response? She allegedly looked the regents in the eye and declared that she had already slept with two of his sons, instantly turning this entire wedding proposal into a scandal. But the drama didn't end there. She escaped, ran away with her own cousin, secretly married him against the wishes of the crown, and ended up with a husband who would become infamous for having lovers in almost every port of Westeros. Heartbreak, scandal, rebellion, forbidden love. Baela Targaryen's story after Jacaerys Velaryon's death is less like a medieval history lesson and more like a political soap opera. So, what really happened to Daemon Targaryen's fearless daughter after Battle of the Gullet, and why she is one of the most underrated and controversial women in this entire Fire and Blood? After the war ended, Baela went full-on Daemon Targaryen mode. The brothels, the drinking games, the flea bottom, and everything else, and you're going to love this. Trust me, you're going to love this story. Let's deep dive into the incredible story of Lady Baela Targaryen. Today, we are exploring Baela's incredible journey after Jacaerys' death based on George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. Baela was the eldest daughter of Daemon Targaryen and Laena Velaryon. Along with her twin Rhaena, she represented the union between two of the most powerful Valyrian houses. In 118 AC, when both the children were still young, Baela was formally betrothed to Prince Jacaerys Velaryon, the eldest son of Princess Rhaenyra. The marriage wasn't just merely romantic, it was politically essential. It would unite Rhaenyra's claim with House Velaryon even more firmly. As they grew older, Baela became devoted to Jace. During Dance of the Dragons, while Rhaenyra ruled from Dragonstone, Baela stayed beside Jacaerys. She even wanted to marry him immediately rather than wait until the war ends. Some accounts even say that she wished to accompany him into battle with her dragon Moondancer. Unfortunately, Moondancer was still too young to face experienced war dragons. Then came the Battle of the Gullet. Jacaerys mounted Vermax and fought bravely against the Triarchy fleet. During the battle, Vermax crashed into the sea after being struck by enemy fire. Jacaerys died before he and Baela could ever be husband and wife. The future they had planned vanished in a single day. Many noble women would have been expected to remain safely within the castle walls, but Baela, she could not. She inherited Daemon Targaryen's boldness and stubbornness. Even after losing Jace, she remained committed to Rhaenyra's cause. When Dragonstone eventually fell for King Aegon II, Baela didn't flee. Instead, she chose to fight. Despite knowing that Moondancer was much smaller than Sunfire, she challenged the king himself. It remains one of the most courageous and perhaps reckless decisions made during the Dance of the Dragons. This battle was overlooked because it occurred nearly at the end of the war, but it was extraordinary. Moondancer was still young, quick, but agile. Sunfire, despite being one of the most beautiful dragon ever born, had already suffered tremendous injuries earlier in the war. Baela relied on speed rather than strength. She repeatedly attacked from above, avoiding Sunfire's jaws whenever possible. For a time, her strategy worked, but size eventually mattered. Sunfire managed to seize Moondancer. The smaller dragon crashed onto the ground and died with her wounds. Baela herself survived the fall but suffered devastating injuries. She was burned, battered, and barely alive. Even so, she had inflicted such severe wounds on Sunfire that Aegon II's dragon would not survive much longer. It was a costly victory for the king. Following the battle, Baela became Aegon II's prisoner. Considering everything that had happened during Dance of the Dragons, many expected her execution. Instead, she was spared, partly because she was the granddaughter of Jacaerys Velaryon, and partly because killing another member of House Targaryen risked further unrest. Baela remained defiant. Even as a prisoner, she refused to abandon her pride or spirit. After Aegon II's death, the war finally ended. Young Aegon III became the king. After the war was finally over and Aegon III ascended the Iron Throne, Baela entered an entirely new chapter of her life. At that time, she, her twin Rhaena, Aegon III and Queen Jaehaera were believed to be the only surviving Targaryens, as Prince Viserys was presumed dead. While Aegon and Jaehaera remained secluded within the Red Keep, Baela and Rhaena quickly became the darlings of King's Landing, welcoming visitor lords and foreign envoys. But Lady Baela had little interest in behaving like a proper princess. She would regularly sneak away from her ladies-in-waiting, roam the streets of King's Landing. She raced horses through the city while she was drunk, swam across the Blackwater Bay at midnight, drank with the Gorcloaks in the barricades, gambled in the rat pits of Flea Bottom, and in one occasion disappeared for 3 entire days without even explaining where she was. Her choice of companions shocked the court even more. Baela befriended a juggler, a blacksmith apprentice, a hedge knight squire, street performers, beggars, and a pair of twin girls from the brothel, often insisting that they should be given positions within the Red Keep. She openly mocked any nobleman who sought her hand in marriage, leaving the court scandalized. No scepter, no sceptron, no amount of royal discipline could tame Daemon Targaryen's daughter. Before long, the hand of the king concluded that there was only one way to curb Baela's rebellious nature, and that was to quickly find her a husband as soon as possible. To them, Baela wasn't simply a princess. She represented political power. They wanted to arrange a marriage that would benefit the realm. One proposal matched her with Lord Thaddeus Rowan, an elderly widower with grown sons. Baela despised that idea. According to Fire and Blood, she mocked the proposal so outrageously that she claimed that she had already slept with 2 of Rowan's sons. Whether this was true or merely meant to sabotage the marriage remains unknown. The regents were horrified. Baela was confined for her behavior, but confinement had never stopped Daemon Targaryen's daughter. Instead of obeying the regents, Baela escaped. She fled to Driftmark. There, she secretly married Lord Alyn Velaryon, the famous sailor known as the Oaken Fist. He's the same Alyn we saw in House of the Dragon in Battle of the Gullet. Alyn had recently been legitimized and became the Lord of Tides. His marriage shocked the regency. Some wanted it annulled, but Hand of the King Tywin Lannister recognized reality. The marriage stood, and perhaps the first time in years, Baela chose her own future. Not because politics demanded it, not because the council ordered it, but because it was her decision. Baela Targaryen's story is one of resilience. She lost a man she loved, she lost her dragon, she survived imprisonment, war, political manipulation, yet she never allowed anyone to decide who she is. Among all the survivors of Dance of the Dragons, Baela remains one of the boldest and most independent figures in George R.R. Martin's creation. Her marriage to Alyn Velaryon wasn't perfect. He spent long periods away at sea and was known for having lovers in many ports, creating a turbulent relationship. Even so, Baela remained one of the strongest personalities of her generation, continuing to support her family and play an active role in the years that followed. But before we end the video, there's another fascinating mystery connected to Baela and Jacaerys that still divides Fire and Blood fandom. Did Jacaerys actually cheated on Baela? According to Mushroom, while Jace was in Winterfell securing House Stark's support, he fell in love with a mysterious woman called Sarah Snow, the alleged bastard and half-sister of Lord Cregan Stark. Mushroom claims that these two had a passionate affair and even secretly married beneath the Heart Tree in Winterfell's Scotswood. If the story were true, it would mean that Jace broke his promise to Baela. But here is where things become interesting. The main historian of Fire and Blood, Archmaester Gildane, openly questions this entire story. He even suggests that Sarah Snow herself may have never existed, and other contemporary sources never mention any marriage, and Jace is constantly portrayed as honorable, deeply committed to his duty. Because Fire and Blood is written in universe history full of conflicting accounts, George R.R. Martin never tells us the true version. So, did Jacaerys betray Baela, or was Mushroom simply inventing another scandalous tale? We may never know. And that's exactly what makes this one of the most debated mysteries of Fire and Blood. Baela lost her dragon,
Baela
the man
Targaryen's
beloved.
story is
She endured
ultimately one
war,
of resilience.
imprisonment,
She lost the man
political
she loved.
manipulation,
She
and a
suffered
marriage
civil
that
war
was
in the
far
history
from
of
perfect.
Westeros.
And yet, she never let anyone else dictate her fate. Unlike so many women in Westeros, Baela refused to be treated as a political pawn. Whenever someone tried to control her life, she pushed back, even if it meant scandal, rebellion, or risking everything. Perhaps that is why, more than anyone else, she truly inherited Daemon Targaryen's spirit. In the next video, we are going to explore what happened to Rhaena after Dance of the Dragons, and believe me, you're going to be very upset after that. Until then, let me know in the comments what was your favorite part from Baela's story from Fire and Blood. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.